Hello everyone. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to be talking about Destiny.
The geological consequences
Um,
of the radiolaria's sudden
which
drainage
I know,
almost
actually,
square as they
now that
are
you think about it, it's like,
believed.
oh, you talk about
Please
video games all the time, but
investigate.
I want to make this a little bit more personal while I do some other things. Basically going to be doing some seasonal content on my Warlock, or episode content on my Warlock here. So if I'm a little rusty or I'm playing a little bit sloppy, that's why. I don't normally play Warlock as too often anymore. I am I'm a glorified Titan main with Warlock genes sometimes. So forgive me if I'm both it's not really coherent and focusing on the content at hand. I'm recording this on technically Sunday before the new content, and I know I'm not doing model. It's just late and I'm too tired to get it turned on. But yeah, what this video is basically going to be is just talking about Destiny because it's been out for 10 years now. It's been a long journey, and I may not have been here for the entire time. I joined in D1 a little after Taken King came out. Close to Rise of Iron's release, and I just noticed that person's name, and I'm now going to be looking at that the rest of the time while I talk. But basically, after I played mostly on 360, so I wasn't really able to get any access to the content because I was young, I didn't have a job, I was unfortunate enough to not be able to experience all of the new content. I was able to at least experience some of the DLCs after the fact when I switched to Xbox One. I was able to experience Taken King, the House of Wolves, Dark Below, those sorts of things, but had movies on a raid, wasn't able to, and I did a little bit of the Taken King, and I did most of the Taken King campaign, but I never did Rise of Iron, or any of the raids or anything. Most I did back then was, like, up until Templar in D1. But, after that, I really took a massive break from Destiny, most because I wasn't interested, and also I just didn't have access to any of the content. And then Destiny 2 came out again, so it was back when it was paid, and I didn't really have access to it. Any way of getting money, and games were very hard to get for me, because I wasn't in the most rich of households, but I wasn't in a poor household either. We basically had enough to make it by, and not really much else in terms of money, basically. But the main thing I wanted to bring up was I actually got back into Destiny thanks to an old friend of mine that I no longer speak to, but am still forever grateful for their existence because I was able to actually gain access to Destiny through them, and was able to, or Destiny 2 through them, and was able to experience the Red War, actually through the beta. I did play the first mission that was in the beta. I was able to experience the rest of the game. After that, I played up until Forsaken. This Forsaken was the newest DLC that had come out at the time, and I played up until that point. Storyline stuff. Oh no, I don't think I did. I think I did Red War and then kind of stopped. Then after that, I did the. After that, I ended up doing the normal campaign, Red War, that whole thing. Then after a bit, around the time when Shadowkeep came out, I kind of kicked it back into high gear, played through Forsaken, played through Shadowkeep, and was basically playing it somewhat more frequently during the time of the Season of Dawn. That's really when I started picking up traction. Basically, the Thanksgiving after the Shadowkeep released was when I really started playing, around that time, Halloweenish. The reason why I remember this so vaguely, and why I can kind of pinpoint the time frame, was I was obviously in my current house that I'm living in now, and I remember listening to the Black Veil Bride's The Night EP, and playing through Shadowkeep on my Hunter, because in D1, I did start playing as a Hunter, or as a Titan. Saw how powerful Hunter was in D1, switched to Hunter, and then in D2 switched to Warlock after a bit. Didn't like how the jump felt, still kind of don't, and then inevitably switched to Titan when I saw how powerful One Eyed Mask was. And I kind of never looked back ever since. I remember fond moment in D1. We were doing the all bubble strat in PvP back when the game was a lot different, and I hadn't unlocked bubble at all yet. I was still on Fist of Havoc, and I didn't have access to any of Void Titan at all. But the other team was going for heavy ammo, or power ammo, or whatever it was called back then. I think it was technically heavy ammo. It's technically now power ammo, but you get it. They were going for purple, and I ended up popping Fist of Havoc, killing all like 5 or 6 of them, give or take, and getting a whole bunch of cheers from the team I was playing with, and that was awfully fun. I don't talk with that team anymore. I don't talk with any... All the old groups I play Destiny with, I don't really talk too much anymore. I have my clan now, which I'm not saying is open to the public, but it is one of those things where, hey, if you want to join it, feel free to either DM me on Discord and I can send you an invitation, or at least just join the server. You don't have to join the clan necessarily. We're always looking for new people to help us out with raids, dungeons, PvP, shenanigans, Gambit shenanigans, because some of us do play Gambit, myself included. So, that's just a little plug there for that. Not obviously required to do so, but it is fun if you are interested. We're all very friendly and like to just kind of play games and stuff like that. We're passionate about the game, we want to have fun. That's really all that matters to us. But I was playing during Season of Dawn, and I basically was doing a lot of it by myself. I didn't have a clan, didn't have a group to play with. I just kind of experienced everything at my own pace. And for me, this video is basically going to be talking about the moment that I was sold on Destiny. And the moment that really thrusted me into the game that I now thoroughly enjoy and love the universe of. And that was Quarters of Time, and the entire mission relating to that. And freeing Saint 14 from his past, and basically saving him and bringing him back to the world. If you didn't know, I definitely recommend watching Bice's videos on Season of Dawn, if you haven't already. Because I definitely think those are... He's going to talk about it, the lore-ification of the story, a lot better than I do. But it was a really interesting time for Destiny, and to see a character that I immediately fell in love with after so long come back to us and be essentially the front and center of the whole thing felt very good. And I was very happy to see a character that I always loved, and of course Titan, they were a Titan, be effectively this huge story point was amazing. And then after that, I was kind of off and on the game because Season of the Worthy wasn't that fun, and it felt very, very hard compared to me because I only was just barely powerful enough to do the content in Season of Dawn without getting too much of a struggle bus. So I was very under-leveled for Season of Worthy. The same went with Season of Rivals, didn't really experience much of that. But then I hopped back in during Beyond Light, which was obviously the whole thing involving Beyond Light with sunsetting and all of that. Introduced a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm not going to talk about that in this, but it introduced a whole bunch of things. And that's when I started playing it the seasonal releases more. I started playing the game a lot more consistently, and basically just enjoying the story that we've gotten since then. So now that and then obviously I experienced Witch Queen, that whole story, that amazing story. Then I experienced the ups and downs of Lightfall, which I know a lot of people don't really hold very highly. I still think it has some good moments and some very interesting lore stuff, especially when you consider the seasons that were mixed in. And then I obviously played through the amazing campaign that was Final Shape. I think I'm going to die if I hit that, so I'm going to try and glide a little farther. Yeah, damn it. But to me, this game, for a lot of people, is more than just their funny looter-shooter MMO type thing. This game is an amazing escape for a lot of people. Whether it's telling a really heart-wrenching story, or telling a really heartfelt story, or a funny story about pirates and freaking, like, Rambo-esque fight training montages or whatever. This game means a lot to a lot of people. I know the Destiny community gets clowned on a lot, and I know Bungie gets a lot of shit for some of the things they do, but at the end of the day, this universe has set up so much for a lot of us. And I want to open it up to the comments for everybody who sees this video, whether you're from my clan, whether you're just a random person from YouTube recommended, or you're a subscriber who's been subscribed for me for Destiny, or whatever. I open up to mainly you guys, because what's a story to you that in this game that really kind of hooked you in and incentivized you to keep playing? Not necessarily an experience, but a story. Whether it be in the lore, whether it be in-game, whether it be the story of a season, a subplot of a season, whatever. And if you want, maybe even share an experience that you did actually have while playing the game. Whether it be similar to my story, where it was just simply helping out the team win a game of PvP by thunder crashing the enemy team, or not thunder crash, but like fist havocing the other team, while everyone else is using bubbles, basically camping on the objective. Or something more simple like clearing your first raid, or doing something unique for the first time that you maybe never did. Because I remember clearing my first raid, I was getting hard carried by a bunch of players. Like, really hard carried. And, to give you an idea of my DPS, I was using Darcy for DPS. Darcy and the Season 8 auto rifle, Pulu Perfect, which I still have in my vault. I will show that off. It's part of the reason why I have so many sentimental weapons in my vault. Isn't necessarily because, oh, the weapon's cool and I like it. It's because some of them are sentimental. I have Pulu Perfect. I have my first ever Better Devils that I got for PvP. I was told it was, this weapon's very, very good. You should use it. Stuff like that. And yeah, I want to kind of open it up to you guys because I would love to talk about this. And I really actually have thought about this and doing this in a more story time format where I basically read it off in like a script-like format of someone's favorite story or lore entry or whatever. For me, I actually might do the lore entry right after this, because I do have a lore entry that is a little bit darker for people who may not know about Destiny too much. It's one of the Beyond Light lore books, and I'm gonna read it actually after I've done this activity, because if it was for the lore, and honestly, if it was for people like Bife, I probably wouldn't be nearly as invested in this game's lore and story as I do. But the main thing that I love about this game is just the amount of storytelling that it has. Whether it be in-game, in the lore books, in little tidbits of side quests, or little flavor text, or whatever. I like these. Ooh, that's right. And I want to talk about at least specifically one story that I think is a little underrated when it comes to this game. And oh, that's a good... I already have that weapon. I know that was probably a really good roll. It probably hurt a lot of you to see me delete it, but I already have one. Don't feel bad. Let's see what this Nezrex is like. That's way too much mobility, but that's a 70 stat. I hate it. But now that we're in orbit, I want to read a lore entry. Because, again, just look at all these lore books. Obviously, this is the Vanguard lore book from, I think, the Into the Light stuff, like this whole thing. But there is one in particular that I want to read that is from this little book right here. And if you do the augments on Europa, you'll know what these are. And yeah, you can kind of see where these are going, but I want to read one that, for me, just kind of shows where this game goes. Because again, I'll talk about this before I fully go into it. The story of Beyond Light really kind of enthralled me because it felt very weird and rushed, but the post-game story, effectively the story with the raid and the entirety of Clovis Bray's facility really intrigued me. It's why it was one of my first ever like one-off seals. I got the Splinter title for a reason. For me, it was just one of those ones I wanted to do really badly. And yeah, so I'm gonna read a couple, not too many, a couple of them from this amazing book. This is from Season of the Hunt. I don't know how I didn't get all those, but this is from Beyond Light, the Braytech Lab Records, Confidential. We're gonna read my favorite one and then an underrated one. Or no, we're gonna read a couple. We'll read one of these, I think, and then we'll read my favorite one. It's the Exo Arm attachment. So, record 5002 E290 Europa 0.435. Subject serial log E222. Test number 312. Exo Arm attachment trial 4. Status confidential. Identities: H. Rasmussen, C. Braid I, patient 32. Location: Europa, Eventide Colony. HR. How about the index finger? Patient 32. No. HR. Extremities remain unresponsive. Are there any sensations at all? Phantom ones. I have an itch I'd like to scratch. My chest feels heavy, like someone is sitting on me. While nerve endings are attached to the mechanism sexually, we are now generating action potentials. This isn't working, Helga. Still progress, you have to decide for that. I typically don't settle for anything. Hello? I'm struggling to breathe. Experiencing a massive myocardial infarction. Send the medic units. I fear my earlier hypothesis is correct, and the human body in its current evolution cannot sustain the physical exertion the machine parts demand. Then we should evolve. Oh, okay, let me just jump ahead 100 million years real quick. We've had some interesting advancement in post-transcriptional modification, gene splicing with primates, fish, and some birds. What if we built stronger humans? Could they withstand this process? I'm an engineer, not a geneticist. I don't know if your ape-man can wield a metal arm. That's such a reductive and tasteless comprehension of what I'm proposing. He's flatlined. We've lost him. Well, you know what they say, at first you don't succeed. Record 12224 E209 SS01.0.113. Subject security log A280. Test number 109. Food supplement trial 15. Status confidential. Identities: C. Bray I, A. Faltskog. Patients 27 through 31. Location: Morningstar orbital platform. Okay, Agatha, what do you have for me? Taking pearls on ramen that we distilled and condensed enough nutrients and proteins into a single pill that should eliminate the need for sustenance within your average patient for 10 years. That's a start, but I'd like to get that number higher. I'm tired of stopping to eat. Imagine what this could do for productivity, not to mention military efforts. Next on the chopping block is sleep. We administered the pill 24 hours ago to 5 patients. Let's see how they're acclimating. Patient 27, how is your appetite? I don't have one. I miss food, but I think it's habitual. Patient 28, my stomach feels full. Patient 30, too full, actually. Anyone else experiencing this? Murmurs of confirmation fill the room. That's to be expected, I suppose. Must be a bizarre sensation. Ma'am, I'm actually feeling pretty sick. Ugh. Is there a bathroom I could use? After we conclude this check-in. I don't think it can wait. What's happening? My stomach. Their stomachs are expanding. Fix it. I can't. The sounds of 5 stomachs exploding. Agatha, clearly we have not found a solution. I'll leave this mess in your incapable hands. Don't ever bring me up here to witness an event like this again. Disgusting. You can kind of see what I mean when I say this character and Clovis Bray's entire everything is kind of screwy. Because the way Clovis works is he just set up a test, not knowing if it would work, gave it to 5 people and they all died. Call it cruel, but it's what he's all about, and it's kind of why I love it. He's just so... he's so deranged, and it reminds me of Fallout a lot. And I think that's why I do like some of these. And, yeah, like, this game is just amazing, right? It has a lot going on for it. Like, if I may, I'm gonna load into the raid. I'm gonna load into Salvation's Edge just for a moment. Just because I want to show this off real quick. I'm not one to really be super happy about looking at raids and environments. I know it's not for everybody, but it's something that I want to show off. Because love or hate this game, love or hate anything about this game, the environments this game does are just amazing. Like, just that intro piece alone is just... like, the environment of this place just radiates everything related to the Witness. And I just fell off like an idiot.
Struggling against the cosmic tides, compared to which you are so small.
And just like, if I may talk a little bit about a bunch of the things, I love environments. I will stand by this to the day I die. Even if a game's story isn't that great, or a game isn't great at doing something special, if it can give me an environment for me to gush over and just stare at and kind of live in for a little bit, call me like a stupid gamer who's looking at wrong things for games, but let me enjoy the cool stuff. All right, like, I'm gonna jump over here and kind of show this off. Just look for a second. Just look up. And then if I just look simply over this way, look down, just the overall just creeping power of the Witness just constantly taking over. And if you just look that way, there's the portal we came through, where this journey started. This final journey to stop the final shape. It is such a surreal thing to kind of look at this game and how far it's come. From being just a simple looter shooter with a lot of weird and fun story to what is, in my opinion, one of the best stories we've had in a really long time. And don't get me wrong, I love when games break out and do new things. I love when games are able to do a lot of unique and different things, but something that will always be fun for me is when a game can not only find itself and find new purpose in its existence, but be able to do something as big as this and have such an amazing environment to the point where if you don't know what this thing is, you'll be shocked to find out if you haven't already found out. And again, just the environment of this raid alone, the atmosphere is palpable. Just the constant shifting and weirdness of the darkness kind of melding with the light and everything else. Compared to where you first start, it's so different, and I love it. And then, just in general, I know I keep gushing about it, but, like, the story of this game, this whole raid is amazing. As much as I have a lot of gripes with how this raid works, and a lot of how the mechanics are very geared towards the top of the top, a lot of people want to experience the end of this story, and if you get the opportunity to get carried through this place, please, like, if you have the time on your hands and you aren't necessarily great at the game, but you have a team who's willing to be patient and teach you how how this raid works, please go through it. It is such a treat to go through, and as aggravating as it is still a great raid. I still think this raid has a lot of problems, but the one thing it doesn't: atmosphere, weapons, armor, overall just everything related to this raid is great. And just in general, this game, I love it. I keep talking about it, but I do generally love it. It is a thing where, again, I just want to give love to a lot of this game. And I know Destiny is a place of a lot of anger, hate, all that, and hating the devs, saying the devs aren't very good at their job or whatever, but at the end of the day, what does this game really mean to us? Right? That's what I want to be a takeaway from this, is not Destiny is amazing, the best game ever created, or Destiny sucks and it's the worst thing ever and I wish I didn't get into it. It's like, what does this game mean to you as a player? Because whether it's the chase for better loot, the chase for that perfect god roll, the chase for that perfect stat rolled armor, or having fun with friends, doing the seasonal content and finding funny builds that work way too well, or doing a raid maybe once or twice a month, or just experiencing whole new stories and activities with friends, whether they're old and new. Something about that, even if it's not just Destiny, just feels amazing to do. And I want that to sort of be the kind of endpoint I leave this video on. Is just, one, tell me a story that kind of enthralls you in Destiny, something that really convinced you that this game is great, and the story that kind of brought you in, and then maybe a memorable moment from this game that you've played in the past 10 years. This game's been out for 10 years. This game has been almost around as long as, like, I'm 24. I'm going to be 25 in a couple of months. This game's been around for almost half my life. Which is weird to say, but still, it's not been in my life that long, thankfully. I'd say Call of Duty probably has that, or Minecraft. But, yeah, again, just this game. What does it mean to you? What was the story that got you into this? And what is a moment that you remember from this 10-year lifespan that you personally have experienced? It doesn't have to be from 10 years ago. It could be from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. You get the idea. As long as it was within the 10 years and it was in Destiny, and it's a memorable, happy moment. That's what I want this to be about. Memorable, happy, and looking back. Because while I'll still be covering Destiny until the server shut off, I know it's not going to be for everybody, but yeah. I'm hoping that if this video finds you, that you can at least share some of those stories, and we can talk about the best of Destiny. Whether it's D1, D1 Year 2, D2, D1, or D2 Vanilla, whichever. It's all that matters to me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next video live stream I'm gonna make. Sorry if this one feels a little rushed and not as super, like, high energy. I am recording so later than I normally record my videos. I've been stressed about a bunch of different things, with rent going up and work being kind of off and on, and money situations generally being kind of tight. I've been stressed out about that, and a bunch of other things. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying all the different content. I'm going to be trying to do another obviously with the final season, or the final week of content for Modern Warfare 3 coming out soon, as well as Destiny 2 episode Revenant and Black Ops 6 around the corner. I'll be trying to cover as much as I can that is not Call of Duty and Destiny. I'll be still covering here and there. Expect some streams this week. I'm going to try and stream mainly for the sake of trying to help raise money to get my help cover some of my rent and bills, but to also try and interact with you guys a little bit more, because I do want to try and stream at least once a week, and I'm going to try and at least do 1 to 2 this week, hopefully. But, yeah. I'll see you guys at the last service that I make. Have a good day, buddy. Stay safe. Subscribe. And, don't forget to subscribe to Fox Den too, please, because that channel is the current dedication to why I'm actually getting a little stressed out, because I'm trying to make sure that that channel continues to flourish, because myself and Evie love making content for that channel. So, yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Everybody, and stay safe.